right, good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, and since we have reached the lovely hour of 6 p.m., we are here at Athens-Clarke County City Hall with the Mayor and Commission for our monthly voting meeting. Real glad to have everyone here, and we're going to go ahead and begin with a roll call from the clerk.
Davenport. Link.
Here.
Taylor. Here. Wright.
Present.
Fisher. Here. Johnson. Culpepper.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
Hamby.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I appreciate it. First order of business is approval of the minutes of meetings of Tuesday, June 3rd, of which there were 3, Tuesday, June 5th, Tuesday, June 10th, Thursday, June 12th, Tuesday, June 17th, when there were 2 meetings, Tuesday, July 15th, when there were also 2 meetings, as well as non-voting meetings of Tuesday, July 15th, which was just 3 weeks ago. To entertain a motion for approval of said minutes.
So move.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Hamby, got a second from Commissioner Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, as always, I want to provide our civility pledge to all of us in this room and all of us beyond, and it's provided to us by the Georgia Municipal Association. This indicates that the way we govern ourselves is often as important as the positions we take, that our collective decisions will be better when differing views have had the opportunity to be fully vetted and considered, that all people have the right to be treated with respect, courtesy, and openness, that we value all input, and we commit to conduct ourselves at all times with civility and courtesy to each other. I do need to ask of the clerk, is there any written communication this evening?
There are none.
All right, so no written communication, but we do have one special presentation. So I'm really excited that we have with us tonight Probate Court Judge Schaefer, who is going to present and introduce Judge Susan Huff, who's now Associate Judge. So good evening, Judge Schaefer.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to all the commissioners. Susan Schaefer from the Probate Court. The last time I met with you, Ms. Huff was staff attorney, Susan Huff, and y'all graciously provided your support for me to have an associate judge, and I would now like to introduce my new associate judge who has served in the probate court for the last 4+ years, Susan Huff.
Thank you, Judge Schaefer. And thank you also to the mayor and commissioners for recognizing the needs of the probate court in our community and creating this position. It is my great honor to serve as Athens-Clarke County's probate court's first associate judge. As a native of Athens and a graduate of Cedar Shoals High School and the University of Georgia, and having raised 2 children here in Athens, I'm very vested in our community, and I will endeavor to serve the people of Athens-Clarke County with integrity, impartiality, and efficiency. I would like to invite each of you to come to the probate court and to our public record room. We would love to meet with you and talk to you more about the important work that we do, and also to share some of the history of Clarke County, for which we're the record keeper for. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Huff. We appreciate it.
Thank you again, everyone.
All right, so that takes us to public input, and there are going to be several opportunities for public input tonight that will only vary slightly when it comes to planning and zoning items. There's going to be an opportunity for public input on the consent agenda, which are items 1 through 14 at present. There's going to be a separate opportunity for each public hearing and deliberation regarding recommendations from the Athens-Clarke County Planning Commission, of which there are several. And with planning items, there is an opportunity for residents to sign up in advance for up to a 10-minute segment if they're for and against. And so we'll have 2 of those. All other public input will be the 3-minute opportunity. There's going to be public input on the old and new business, which are items 15 through 26. And then at the conclusion of all business, there will be public input on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. So if you want to sing us a song or soliloquy, you've got the opportunity at that point. All public input, except for those brief 10-minute segments, are 3-minute opportunities. And you see there is a fancy light made by our Athens-Clarke County staff in front of the clerk. It has a green light that will turn on when you begin speaking, a yellow light when you have 30 seconds remaining, and a red light when your 3 minutes is concluded. And I will thank you for your time with us tonight. You will notice that there are some cards on the podium. If you provide public input, please fill out one of those cards so we can accurately capture your name for the record. And when you do step up to the mic, make sure you let us know your name and your place of residence. So with all of that said, I do need to turn to the commission to ask, is there any commissioner who would like to remove any one of the 14 items from consent for discussion?
I do.
Commissioner?
Number 1 and number 2, please.
All right. All right, any others? All right, so members of the public, if you would like to speak to items 3 through 14, now is that time. 3 through 14. Back in the classroom, we called that wait time. Give you a second. Organize your thoughts. All right. Members of the commission, I'd entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda items 3 through 14 at this time.
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Taylor. All right, and I do believe we've got a couple ordinances to read, so I'm going to turn to Attorney Drake to do that for us this time.
Mayor, I forgot one, number 4. I apologize, number 4.
It's all right, we'll remove number 4 as well, so we'll be voting on items 3 and 5 through 14.
Will be, so ordinances, we have ordinances for items 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'll read them now. An ordinance to amend the FY 26 annual operating capital. This is item 3. An ordinance to amend the FY 2026 annual operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to provide grant funding if awarded to the Sustainability Department from the Georgia Environmental Financial Authority, GEFA, through the Georgia Energy Grant Program for energy efficient audits by the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, and for other purposes. Item number 4. An ordinance to amend the FY
4 will do.
Excuse, 3 was removed, 4 was removed, sorry. Item number 5, an ordinance for the establishment of controlled parking area on O'Farrell Street between Burnett Street and Morton Avenue and for other purposes. Agenda item number 6, an ordinance to amend the FY 2025 operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to provide funding from the University of Georgia for reimbursement for hours worked during football, traffic control, and for other purposes. Item number 7, an ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to the salary for full-time associate probate judge and for other purposes. Item number 8, an ordinance to amend the FY 26 operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to authorize an additional full-time statutory position, provide increased funding for juvenile court personnel services and additional operating expenses and for other purposes.
All right, so we have a motion from Commissioner Wright and a second from Commissioner Taylor for approval of items 3 and 5 through 14. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, we're going to move now to our planning and zoning items recommended by the Athens-Clarke County Planning Commission before we move to old and new business. The first of those items is number 15 regarding 200 and 205 Rockwood Boulevard. And I do have Paul Johnson signed up for the 10-minute opportunity, so I'll call on Mr. Johnson to begin. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Gerson, Commissioners. I'm Paul Johnston, 364 Morning Drive in Athens. And I'm here representing the Community Association for Creekside Manor, which is the HOA for the organization. I'm a vice president of that organization. And as if you've read some of the material we've handed out to you, you recognize that we have had some reservations about this new development on our threshold. We've come to some resolution with most of them, but I'd like to go over some of them with you very quickly because there are still issues to be resolved down in the future. So the first one of those has to do with drainage. As you are probably aware, the new development sits at an elevation compared to our neighborhood, Creekside Manor. It's also an elevation compared to our storm drains and our detention pond. We pay approximately $5,000 to $10,000 a year to maintain the detention pond, so we are concerned that there'd be extra drainage, and that might require additional funding to maintain the pond and its drainage structure. It has a drainage tower. And we have been assured, and now in conversations with planning and also with the developer, that they will do everything they can to maintain virtually all of the water in the proposed development. So we are more or less happy with that, and our position on that is we're now going through, if I can, I hate to quote Ronald Reagan here, but we're going to trust but verify as the thing goes along. Our second issue had to do with parking. Our neighborhood is a small neighborhood with a lot of houses in it, and the developer managed to make our driveways such that you can't park 2 cars in a driveway without getting at least one of them on the grass. That necessitates some people, or they think they have to park in the street. But our neighborhood also has very small and narrow streets. And we've had situations where a fire truck couldn't get through, a school bus couldn't get through, it had to back up. Even large trucks or medium-sized trucks can't get through between 2 cars if they're parked abreast. So that was something that we were concerned about, additional parking in the neighborhood if the parking spaces in the new development were not adequate. We're also concerned about the fact we have a number of derelict vehicles, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in the neighborhood, and we have had no joy in trying to get those removed. We've called the police department, we've called code enforcement, and they point fingers at each other. I'm not sure which fingers they're pointing at each other, but they're pointing fingers at each other and saying it's the other guy's job. And the net result is that we have those derelict vehicles which take up parking in our neighborhood as well. Anyway, again, we've talked to planning and we've talked to the developer, and they've assured us that they will try to provide adequate parking in the new plats, and if you rezone that, and we're happy that will happen at this point. We're also have been concerned about people using our neighborhood, if you will, from the other neighborhood for things like walking the dog. And actually, we're more concerned not about them walking there, but about what the dog might leave behind, or the dogs behind might leave behind. So we're not sure how we're to deal with that. We also have an issue with our playground, where we're spending between $8,000 and $10,000 this next couple of months on a resurfacing for the playground, and additional children playing in the playground will cause that to wear out sooner. We will have to address that ourselves. With regard to the dogs, the developer has assured us that he will leave add certain rules to the HOA that will be developed for that new neighborhood that would allow us to go back, I guess, to the owners of those dogs and perhaps get some resolution. And I guess that brings me finally to the thing that we really do wish to have. As you are, I'm sure, aware, the current zoning, which is CN1, has a number of exclusions. And those exclusions were hard won, I would say, back in 2012 to 2013. And they prevent certain commercial construction from happening on the 2 parcels. As it turns out, if you change the zoning to RM1 from the CN1, there are many of the same commercial things could be built under RM1 as could be built under CN1. In addition, other things that we would find undesirable could be built if a special use permit were granted. So what we're asking at this point is that y'all would consider the list of exclusions that we've offered to y'all and include that as part of the new zoning. Now, you might say, well, this developer is trying to build a townhomes, and so we're not going to have the commercial development. But y'all know Murphy's Law, and things can go wrong, and so the developer may find that something happens, and he doesn't build the townhomes and wants to build something else, or alternatively, the developer may sell the land to someone else who wants to build something else. So for the year and a half until this project is underway, we would request that you add in the exclusions that we have requested. And I understand that the developer will support that as well, because we believe that he wants to build the townhomes. It's all good, but you'll protect us from the future if the future turns out not to work out that way. So I believe that's all. So thank you very much for listening, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak to the project at 200 and 205 Rockwood Boulevard? Good evening.
Good evening. Mark Campbell, Carter Engineering, 1010 Commerce Drive, Bogart. I just want to say thank you to Commissioner Johnson for making the connection between myself and the applicant with the members of the HOA board here. It was great to be able to have that connection so we could have that dialogue and that communication. I think that helps all parties involved. Obviously, we think that it makes a lot of sense to rezone this and actually provide some of that more restrictive zoning from an RM1 versus the CN that currently exists. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to consider it. And as we continue to work through, look forward to developing townhomes at this location. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Is there anyone else here to speak to this application? All right, seeing none, I'll move to Commissioner District 6, Johnson, for a motion.
I motion that this agenda item is, be approved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, a second from Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Johnson, any follow-up remarks?
Yes, I was happy to get involved and help both parties because what I learned in reading through all of the emails was that there was a property manager that was actually standing in or speaking for the neighborhood association, and that kind of made them feel out of the loop. And in every situation where I've actually, brokered or a meeting or some sort with a neighborhood and a builder, it always works well when they speak directly with each other. There were a number of conversations with the property manager the neighborhood association was unaware of. So it goes without saying they were surprised, unhappy, and did not feel part of the process. But after I sent an email to both parties, they were very willing to meet, and it wasn't difficult to come to the middle and agree on some of these things that Mr. Johnston spoke about, the drainage, the parking. I think the map that I saw showed that there was more parking. So most of the condos except for one are two-bedroom condos, but there are 3 spaces for each condo. So that's the garage, it's a one-car garage. There's a parking space inside the driveway, and then there's on-street parking where they have a number of parking that is designated just for the condominiums. And so I agree with Mr. Johnston that Creekside Manor, there is a parking problem for sure, and they didn't need anything extra. So the developers took care of that. The drainage, there was an agreement with that. And the derelict vehicles, Mr. Johnston, I can take care of that. I can help you with that by making a few phone calls. So that's not the developer, but that's something that I can help you with. And with the neighborhood loitering, if that becomes an issue, just let me know. But I think this turned out to be lemonade at the end of the day, because both parties had an opportunity to sit across the table from each other and have an honest conversation about what their needs and their concerns were.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll turn to Commissioner Fisher as the seconder and then recognize Commissioner Hamby. Nothing more? Commissioner Hamby.
Thank you, Mayor. This is probably for our attorney, Commissioner Johnson, just to make sure that your motion was to approve, but I wanted to make sure that we do have this memo here from the board that lists several exclusions from the zoning. Do we need to include those in the motion to?
I forgot to do that. Thank you.
As conditions?
So we're going to ask to amend the motion such that we exclude a set of commercial uses
Yeah, I see cemeteries is on here. We want to make sure the living are here, not the dead, so.
Commissioner, could you read that list?
I'm looking for that right
Commissioner
now. Do
Johnson.
you have that
What
with you,
page is it
Commissioner?
on?
I have it right here if you want me to read it,
Commissioner
Commissioner.
Hamby, that'd be
Sure.
helpful.
So exclusions from proposed RM1 zoning, bed and breakfast, boarding houses, business, trade schools, cemeteries, colleges, convenience stores, daycare, kindergartens, drug rehabilitation, elementary, middle, high school, fraternities and sororities, halfway houses, hospitals, laundry facilities, medical centers, nursing homes, restaurant, bars, retail service, sales and services, semi-public halls, clubs, or lodges. And I'll just point out that the speaker did point out that a lot of these are already excluded, and I guess this is just making sure that that is maintained throughout this project.
All right, so amended motion to exclude those uses just noted. Okay with that, Commissioner Fisher, second. Okay. Anyone further? All right. We need ordinance read.
Ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to rezoning two parcels of land comprising approximately 2.59 acres located at 200 and 205 Rockwood Boulevard from CN Commercial Neighborhood to RM1 Mixed Density Residential and for other purposes.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, we're going to move forward to item 16 regarding 180 and 190 Pinecrest Drive. Is there any member of the public to speak to this item? Good evening. Again, just provide your name and place of residence.
All right, my name is Kevin Bentley. I live at 120 Cross Creek Circle of Macon, Georgia. Good evening, Mayor Gertz, commissioners, and members of the public. I'm one of the co-owners and developers of the properties at 180 and 190 Pinecrest Drive. I also own other properties here in Athens, and we care deeply about the long-term health and charm of the city. We're here tonight to request a rezoning from RM1 to RM2, not to increase the number of homes, which will remain at 7, but to allow each townhome to have 3 bedrooms instead of 2. This isn't about student housing. These units are designed for young professionals, retirees, and families relocating to Athens who want to live near the university and enjoy all that the classic city has to offer. The reason for our request is simple: market demand. According to the National Association of Home Builders, more than 2/3 of home buyers prefer 3-bedroom homes. Locally, Athens data shows 3-bedroom units outsell 2-bedroom homes more than 2 to 1. In this price range, 2-bedroom homes are simply not practical or desirable for our intended buyers. They want space to work from home, host guests, or accommodate family. We aren't adding height, we aren't expanding the building footprint, and we aren't increasing the number of units. We're just aligning the layout with what buyers actually want and need. Without that 3rd bedroom, this product and project is far less viable and could become a long-term liability for the neighborhood instead of an asset. I've seen comments online suggesting frustration with the future land use map more than this specific rezone. That's a conversation for another day. But tonight, we're focused on making sure this lot directly across from Foley Field doesn't turn into another poorly planned project like what we saw in Rutherford. We all want a beautiful, walkable, vibrant neighborhood, and this product and project supports that vision. The Planning and Zoning Commission recognized this, voting 6-1 in favor. Mayor Gertz has spoken clearly about the need to adapt as Athens grows by 30,000 people in the coming decades. This modest, well-located project helps do exactly that without sprawl or disruption. We want to be your neighbors, and we want to be a part of preserving what makes the classic city special. With your support, we can deliver something Athens will be proud of for generations. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. Is there anyone else here to speak to 180 and 190 Pinecrest Drive? Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Terry Osbolt. Terry Osbolt. Live at 225 St. George Drive, Athens, and that's off Timothy Road. for more than, I care to remember, I've lived here in good old Athens and Clarke County. Came here in 1964 and loved it. I've taught school at Clarke Central and owned a couple of different businesses. So Athens is home. Love it. Always will. But first I want to sincerely thank the commissioners. You have not an easy job. And thank you. We want you to know that you're appreciated and that we actually listen to your recommendations. Athens is a very special, as you know, and unique community, and we want to take care of it. So I think this, and the reason I have interest is I'm committed, if this is approved, to own and live in one of the townhouses, ASAP. I have lived on Morton Avenue years ago and had several other income houses in the Five Points area. So I do understand, and I know what we're thinking in this community and how you want to protect it. And so do I, and so do we. Even my 3 children and my wife attended the university, so we're dyed in the wool here. It's in our blood. I wonder if you realize there are 13 sports that people attend, and half of those are in walking distance of this project. So that's what I foresee, is me and my neighbors walking to not only the baseball game, that's a given, but then there's football, tennis, swimming, there's the arts, musicals, museums, all within 10 to 15 minute walk. There are even classes for mature adults at the university. That's kind of interesting. I hope that's been taken care of. It's funded by scholarship also from the state of Georgia. So we appreciate that. And also, very importantly, there are several good restaurants within walking distance. And I look forward and hope you all will consider this worthwhile project.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald.
Sir.
Anyone else here to speak to this item?
Hi, my name is Hillary Rustin, and I live at 145 Millage Terrace in Athens, not far from the area. And I am hoping, and thank you for allowing us to speak tonight and for your service, and I'm here to ask you to vote no on the rezone, not no on the redevelopment of that property. I think they can build beautiful townhomes, luxurious, wonderful townhomes, meeting their needs within the current zoning of RM1, which the whole neighborhood is. And also, this is not a corridor. This is not the area that is ripe for increased density and development. We're not against growth, I don't think, but we're for smart growth. And I'm a teacher. I work with lots of teachers who are having difficulty finding housing in Athens. And this is a special fragile neighborhood that does serve, for instance, our school counselor lives there. She lives in a cottage court. There's 12 other cottages. Every single one of them is working professionals except for one who is a student. But this is not a student neighborhood as might have been characterized earlier. I know the mayor said that he looked to see if there were home exemptions and didn't find any. That piqued my curiosity as a researcher, and I found some and called those people, and they identified others that were home-owned properties in the neighborhood. It's not just students. Not that students are just students, but it's many working professionals in that area, librarians, mechanics. It's an affordable area that is not increasing the traffic, that also takes advantage of walking back and forth as staff to the university. Maybe not the fancy professors. So who is this zoning for? It is for multimillionaires. The price point is 1.4-ish million. Those are the people that can afford to build and buy anywhere in Athens. I understand that proximity to the university is one of the big issues here, but there's also other ways to get to the university, and there's areas zoned properly not that far from the university where they can still access the wonderful things the community has to offer, including the restaurants and everything else in the neighborhood. I think that the mentions about the future land use plan is that the Planning Commission, I think, erroneously used the message of the future land use plan and conflated RM1 and RM2 and minimized the difference between those two. In this small-scaled neighborhood, RM1 is appropriate. The height and the density and the setbacks. To then suddenly start having RM2 is going to change this neighborhood, I think, in a way that it will no longer be able to be an affordable, functioning home area for people who are doing the jobs that we need in Athens, working in the community. I think those are the main things.
Thank you, Ms.
The
Rustin. I
light is
appreciate
red.
it.
Thank you. I hope you'll vote no.
Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Scott Weaver, 2145 River Cliff Drive in Roswell, Georgia. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. When we purchased these properties, I'm one of the co-developer or co-owners and developers of these subject properties. And when we purchased these, our vision was to create something thoughtful and viable, something we would want to live in ourselves, and we're calling it Grandstand at Foley. I want to focus for a moment on the neighboring property just south of ours, right across Northview Drive, Foley Commons. Foley Commons is a 6-townhome development, and what they've built is very, very similar to what we're proposing. Same height, density, quality, number of bedrooms, parking, similar setbacks and price point. And given that Foley Commons exists right next door and within the same general zoning of RM1, we assumed we'd be able to do something similar, but we've learned that to match that development, we'd need RM2 zoning. And the three main differences between RM1 and RM2 zoning that have been brought up before are height. RM1 allows 30 feet, RM2 allows 35. I measured Foley Commons myself using a laser, and their roof peaks at 45 feet somehow. And that property sits 5 feet above ours. So ours, even if we built to 35 feet in RM2, our roofs would appear 10 to 15 feet lower than theirs. And since our property slopes downhill toward that stream buffer, the difference would appear even greater. So across from us, the wall of Foley Field that we stare at from those two houses is 40 feet tall. So what we're proposing would not feel out of place. The setbacks between RM1 and RM2, RM1 requires 15 feet, RM2 requires 10, but in practice, due to the power lines on those properties, we have to set back 15 feet anyway. So that's really a non-issue. And then the final piece is the density, and Kevin spoke to that. RM1 allows 16 bedrooms an acre, and RM2 allows 24. So our combined parcels would allow us to build 3-bedroom townhomes in RM2 and only 2-bedroom townhomes in RM1. These are for-sale townhomes. They're not student apartments. They're not student rentals. They're for families, professionals. I personally have 3 grown children. I hope they'll come visit me when I live there. Kevin has kids also, and this is a place we'll both want to call home. Additionally, our site has constraints from a 75-foot stream buffer, so actual lot coverage will be well within code. We plan to remove the current driveway that encroaches on the stream buffer and relocate that to Northview Drive, which improves both safety and compliance. We're also adding a sidewalk along Northview Drive in our proposed development, which will help the walkers stay safe. No short-term rentals will be allowed in these townhomes. This project reflects responsible infill, careful design, and long-term commitment. And we've been transparent with neighbors and city staff every step of the way. And we're really proud of what we're proposing. And in that immediate vicinity, we know of lots of student housing in that area. Foley Commons is an exception. Most of those are owner-occupied. In fact, all of them are. Lastly, this development, if
Mr. Weaver.
approved, would
Appreciate
increase
it.
the valuation.
Mr. Weaver, your 3 minutes has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Good Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Woodruff, I live at 190 Morton Avenue. We bought our lot, we did build our house on Morton Avenue. We bought it in April of 2016, but did not start building until April of 2019. While we were waiting for new infill regulations that were being considered, and we waited until they were in place before we submitted our building plans, because we didn't want to ask for any variances or changes. We've also owned a house in Cobham in the Historic District, and we had to enclose a back porch, and we went through the process and didn't ask for any exceptions for that. I do not believe this property needs to be rezoned to RM2. The existing zoning is RM1, and all the properties surrounding this project are also RM1. Allowing the rezoning to RM2 sets a precedent for future developers to request zoning to RM2. RM2 allow for more density, and cars in the area in an area already heavy with traffic due to the proximity of the UGA football practice facilities and baseball facilities. The developer stated at a previous meeting that the traffic would not increase on Pinecrest as cars could use the existing side streets as an alternate. They're already being used as an alternate. Northview, Morton, University, these are not wide streets, and they also, some of them have a yellow stripe on one side, so there's no parking there. They're narrow. We have to have that so that the residents that already live there have a place to park. I'm not opposed to the building of a multi-residential complex on this property. I am against the rezoning of this property to higher density property in order for the developer to make the numbers work. Athens-Clarke County spent a lot of time creating infill regulations and zoning, and yet people buy a property already zoned and adhering to infill regulations and then want to change the zoning or ask for variances. The infill and zoning regulations were created to protect and enhance existing neighborhoods and residences. Please take your current constituents' concerns into consideration when making your decisions. Also, too, my pedigree, we moved here from Chicago. My husband was raised here in 5 Points. I wanted to have my children raised in a college town. I went to UGA. My husband went to UGA. Our kids have all grown up here. So I feel like I'm an Athens resident, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Woodruff. Is there anyone else here to speak to this application tonight?
Hello, my name is Edward Kelly. I live at 142 East Rutherford, right around the corner from the property. And I want to thank you for doing all the work that you do, even though you're on the firing line a lot of the time. The current RM1 zoning for this property allows the developer to do a lot of things to the properties that I don't know how many people are in favor of, but there's not much we can do about that. But we do request that the commission vote not to allow the rezoning, which increases the items we find objectionable. It's a very densely packed area, and we're going to take what's there, 2 houses, and make 21 bedrooms, which means 21 more cars. These streets are very narrow, and one thing that has never been mentioned, and I don't know if you've ever driven over there, but drive over there someday when all the school buses are pulling through, and all the parent drop-offs for students, and all the daycare buses pick up at the end of the day, and try to get down East Rutherford and Pinecrest as well. It's a very busy area, buses, drop-offs, all that issue. It's interesting, we live 2 doors down from another property that just, he did this all under the RM1 zoning. He took a 3-bedroom house, rental house, 3-bedroom rental house, and now there's 15 bedrooms. That's 15 cars compared to 3, right across the street from the playground. On top of that, we have a curved, an L-shaped street where these houses are all set back, say 50 feet, pretty uniform. Well, with RM1, he built it 15 feet from the curb, and it looks out of place. And it's interesting to note, we were out there talking to the guy a couple times, and my wife said to him, you know, nobody likes this 15 feet from the curb. And he just said, well, I don't care. I mean, that's the issue. So why do we have to stuff so many more bedrooms into this highly packed area that's already densely packed? Why do we have to do that? So if they can do what they want to do with RM1, there's not much we can do about it. But I propose that you decline the approval of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Good evening.
Good evening. Rita Kelly, 142 East Rutherford. Like he said, we're around the corner from this new development. One of the things we don't want in terms of the rezoning is the precedent that it sets, that you can just go ahead and buy and then change it however you want to have whatever you want. They could still make, as Nancy noted, 2 bedrooms. Maybe it's not the kind of profit they want, but that's not our problem. We are very congested. The streets are very narrow. Really, drive down there and see for yourself when the students are back and everybody is in school, and between the elementary school, even the planning department has said the road that curves that we're on, East Rutherford, would never go any other time. It would never be like that. And he's 15 feet from the curb. They're acting as if 15 feet is awesome. 15 feet is nothing. 15 feet from the curb is just, you're on the street virtually. We want 5 points to be 5 points. Part of that is, and we are homeowners on Rutherford, and the people next door to us are homeowners without filing a homestead exemption. We want to be able to walk to all the fine restaurants. We walk downtown all the time. We walk to all the activities. But that's our right in RM1. We don't feel we need million or 1.4 million townhomes, and that's not for families or single professionals who live in Athens. Are they all making that kind of money that they're going to be able to move into a 1.4 million? I think Stephanie Johnson over on the east side, or whoever is on the east side, maybe Tiffany, said 300,000 was too much. Okay, well, you think families are going to move into a $1.4 million townhome? No. That's either for the rich that don't live here and come and go to games, or it's for the rich who can pay for students and have perhaps students living there. We don't need the traffic. We don't need the richness. We need neighborhoods, regular neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Is there anyone else here to speak to this application tonight?
Okay, that's not why I came, but I'll certainly speak up. My name's Tapley Martin. I live at 220 Burnett Street. My grandparents built the house in 1956. You can't affect what people buy. Something's for sale and they buy it. I'll tell you my concerns are this. A, it should meet the requirements that it's already under. When we make exceptions for people who come in with big money, you're setting a bad precedent. The streets are crowded. I'm actually here about the parking on the corner of Burnett and O'Farrell. I understand that another bedroom makes them a lot more money, but in typical fashion, I hear that they say they want to own one of them. I think we've seen a lot of that in Athens where they are going to own a piece and they don't. They just come in, they build it, and they leave. And let's just call it what it is. These are going to be game day houses. You come on the weekends, you go to a football game, you go to, championship baseball, you go to championship whatever it is. This is not meant to be a resident. It's not. And then the concern is, and in case anybody isn't aware, there's also 3 more on the other side. And my guess is once we build those, we'll then be trying to tackle those as well. And it just seems like a never-ending cycle. So I'd just like everybody to take that into consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Is there anyone else here to speak to this evening?
I'm Marilyn Vickers. I reside at 197 Witherspoon Court. Over the last 2 years, I've heard many discussions of the future land use plan for the county, for affordable housing, for more density. And I've already been to 2 meetings with the Planning Commission about this particular 180, 190 Pinecrest Drive property. In all these meetings, I have seen so many examples of decisions made by building and permits, by the Planning Commission, by the Historic Preservation Commission, and the Mayor and Commission about individual projects, only to see the provisions that were voted on overridden by the developers with no consequences. So with all due respect, Scott and Kevin, I have met with them on the property. I have looked at it. And I think what they have in mind is really an improvement over what is there. And we all have to keep our properties up. But I do have grave concerns about whether it's going to turn out the way they think it will. They presently do not live in Athens. They have jobs elsewhere. So the idea that they would be moving here, and we've had other examples of this, people who say that they're going to move here, but they haven't. I just am concerned about what would actually happen. The change in zoning does continue, I think, if not, I've been told this doesn't set a precedent, but we all know, if not de juris, at least de facto, it becomes a precedent. It at least becomes a creep of investment in second homes into areas where there could be affordable housing for lower and middle income people who would live and work in the community of Athens that we love. I am a double dog. I raised 3 children in this town. My grandchildren are now in this town. They go to Barrow School. My kids went to Barrow School. I really have concerns about what is happening to our community. I've studied enough about what happens in other university towns that everybody loves. We all love the charm, the wonderful fun you can have, but then this creep begins, and before you know it, well, could be decades, but it really creeps up that what used to be this wonderful place is now just sort of a playground for the rich. I would encourage UGA to build its own accommodations.
Thank you, Ms. Vickers.
But thank you so much for listening and for your attention to this.
Is there anyone else here to speak to number 16 this evening?
Hello, Mayor. Thank you so much. My name is Brian Weaver. I live at 112 Greenville Street in downtown historic Noonan, Georgia. I own property on Northview Drive, and I know Kevin and Scott personally. I was a 94 graduate of Georgia. Met my wife at Georgia. My wife currently goes to Georgia. I just would like for you to vote in favor of the rezoning, and I want to make 3 really quick points. The Planning and Zoning Department they've already voted 6-1 in favor of this. It makes common sense to do basically what the rezoning commission is recommending. Everyone in this community has the opportunity to embrace a project that is going to be great, that is going to be better than what is there now. I've been in both houses. They are neither historic nor nostalgic. They both need to be completely torn down. My daughter lives in the brick house. She's renting from them. All of the traffic and all of the parking concerns are going to be behind these buildings. There's, all the parking on Northview is going to go away. The driveway pulling out onto, the driveway on Pinecrest is going away. If anyone stood at that driveway and seen people coming through that stop sign, athletes alone are driving their cars so fast through that stop sign. It's ridiculous. And you've got to make up your mind whether you want game day families in there or you want density. Because I hear one side saying there's going to be 21 new cars, but then other ones are going to say you're only going to see cars on game day. The main thing that I hear is, and I'm shaking because I'm nervous. it's the sense of community. If you ever want to meet two people, salt of the earth, that you want to be, part of your community, Scott and Kevin are it. And when Scott says that he wants to raise his 3 kids there, or at least have his kids come see him, because they're all grown, he's got a daughter in high school, but they are great people. They're the kind of people that you're going to want to have over 4th of July or have over at your Christmas parties. It's not going to be something transient. I just hope that you...
We've just got one person at the podium. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just hope...
Address them there and stop addressing the people in the back if you want to correct it right way.
Go ahead and continue to speak. If the individual at the podium has 3 minutes during that period. you can
It's
complete.
okay. I don't mind. I just feel like that the approval, the buildings would look exactly the same, whether they're 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom. They're trying to do something great, trying to improve the community and trying to improve that property. And I just think it's a no-brainer that it should be passed. So I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Is there anyone else who hasn't spoken who's here to speak to item number 16? All right, we'll come to the commission for a motion. This is in District 4, so I'll turn to Commissioner Wright.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to deny the rezone. Second.
I've got a motion from Commissioner Wright and second from Commissioner Taylor. Go with any remarks, Commissioner Wright?
Nothing to add.
Commissioner Taylor, any follow-up?
Yes, I have a lot to add, but my daughter has to go to school in the morning, so I won't add.
Got Commissioner Link.
Yeah, I'm reluctant to vote for an upzoning on a luxury property that doesn't offer any substantial public benefit. I'm curious why these folks could have gotten that little bit of extra density if they had gone through our inclusionary zoning process and contributed to our housing fund. I believe a rezoning to RS5 could have gotten them what they wanted. And it also would protect those properties from being student housing. I really believe this project is clearly going to be luxury student housing, and those athletes have access to a heck of a lot of money these days. So I could see this being like a serious party center that could really disrupt the neighborhood. If it was in an RS zone that was clearly going to stay family oriented, I have no problem with the design, the height, any of that. It's the idea that with that RM2 zoning, it is clearly designated for either game day party houses or student party houses.
Anyone else? All right. It's a motion to deny. I need to have Attorney Drake read the ordinance.
Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to rezoning 2 parcels of land comprising approximately 0.877 acres located at 180-190 Pinecrest Drive from RM1 mixed-density residential to RM2 mixed-density residential and for other purposes.
All right, there's a motion on the floor and a second to deny. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We're going to move to item 17, which is 231 Collins Industrial Boulevard. Is there anyone here tonight to speak to that item? All right. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Thanks for having me here. My name is Stephen Banks, 1767 Callan Falls Highway in Elberton, Georgia. I am owner and CEO of Turner Concrete Quality Block. We're based out of Elberton, but we've also owned and operated Quality Block, 940 College Avenue for the last 31 years. I came across 231 Collins Industrial strictly on my own by accident, and once I got there, I realized it would be a great location to relocate our block plant. We're in need of new equipment. My facility on 940 just will not handle the new equipment that I want to put in to streamline our operation and make it a lot better. At the time, I'm zoned EI. The property there was zoned EI, so I really didn't realize that I would need a rezone. I thought we could just do just once I got my land use plan in, that we'd be okay. But I think things changed in 2005 or 6, so I'm just asking the commission for a rezone to industrial. Our track record kind of speaks for itself, being at 940 College Avenue with very close neighbors. We've been a good neighbor, 0 complaints. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 17 this evening?
Good evening again, Mark Campbell, Carter Engineering. I just appreciate the opportunity. It's not every day that we get to work on adaptive reuse projects, and that's something that's special, specifically with an industrial zoning. So I think this is a place where we have a round peg and a round hole, and certainly look forward to the opportunity to work on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Is there anyone else here to speak to item 17? All right, this is in District 9, so I'll turn to Commissioner Thornton for a motion.
Mayor, I am going to recommend denial of this application.
We've got a motion from Commissioner Thornton. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, second from Commissioner Taylor. All right, Commissioner Thornton, any remarks?
No remarks.
Commissioner Taylor?
No, sir. No remarks.
Turn to Commissioner Culpepper.
Can I make a substitute motion to approve?
I'll second.
All right, I've got a substitute motion from Commissioner Culpepper for approval. Got a second from Commissioner Link. Commissioner Culpepper, go right ahead.
Yes, Mr. Banks said, where they're located right now on College Avenue, they've been good neighbors. And they've been there for a long time with very little complaints of noise. Where that location is about 7.5, 8 acres. The location where they're moving to on Collins Industrial is twice the size. And and their manufacturing of the blocks are inside the building. They operate 9 to 5 normal business hours, so there's not going to be any noise problems. What was there before was a brewery which just had concerts at night, and so there was a lot of noise issues there. The name of the road is Collins Industrial Boulevard. So that's what this needs to be. If you've got concrete and they don't have the mixing trucks, there might be some, they're not making the concrete. They've got the trucks that are coming out of there or flatbed 18-wheelers hauling the block. So that's not, on College Avenue, you're running, that's a residential road. And so you're going to have traffic on that road. After time, those trucks will tear up the road, which will be on the county's dime, versus those trucks pulling out onto a state highway. If they do create any wear and tear, that's not on our dime, that's on the state's, that's their responsibility. I just think it makes sense for this property to be moved his business to be moved where it is. He's located in Elberton. He gets his raw materials out of the Broad River on the Madison County, Elbert County line. So it makes sense for his sand that's coming out of there for him to be down close on that side of Athens. I think it's a good idea, so I'm approving it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lee?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. Their current location, their longtime location, it doesn't make sense anymore as our community's grown. That is not an industrial area. And like Commissioner Culpepper said, the logistics of transporting those materials into what is effectively the middle of our downtown, it's not necessarily safe and it's not efficient. And here we have a big industrial tract of land and a dedicated use for it that makes total sense. And, you know, the redevelopment of that in-town property could prove to be something that could benefit the entire community. As we grow, we certainly need to look at these in-town properties that are already set up for infrastructure and located, you know, close to amenities. And I feel like this is a no-brainer.
Recognize Commissioner Taylor.
Yeah, I know I didn't have anything to say when I second the motion. I just wanted to make this really clear to the applicant. It does make sense for for your concrete business to be in the industrial area, which is out by McLean. I'm huff and puff. But I also want to put this on record. We know that the core group has bought the foundry. And I fear that although this rezone would be a no-brainer, is that the shifting of properties, I would like to submit on record that by us approving this rezone and them moving to that area, which is fine because it's industrial, but that there will be student houses put up in this area. My colleague just spoke about growth. Well, all of these rezones is not coincidental. All of this area is prime real estate, and so we do have a lot of rezones. But for the residents who call and ask me questions, I just want you to know that there is a bigger plan for this area. It's not that they've overgrown, which I'm sure they have overgrown, and congratulations on the new equipment and the growth of your business. But I do want the college area residents, I'm not your commissioner, Commissioner Link is, and so that's her position. But my position is to keep you knowledgeable about what's about to come and what's happening in this area. So I just wanted to put that on record.
Anyone else want to provide any input on this item? I'm going to have Attorney Drake read the motion, or read the ordinance.
Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to rezoning one parcel of land comprising approximately 15.1 acres located at 231 Collins Industrial Boulevard from EI Employment Industrial to industrial and for other purposes.
Thank you, Attorney Drake. Get a roll call with Commissioner Culpepper.
To approve.
Myers?
Yes.
Thornton?
No.
Hamby?
Yes.
Davenport?
Yes.
Link?
Yes.
Taylor?
No.
Wright?
Yes.
Fisher?
No.
Johnson?
Yes.
Got 7 yes and 3 no.
All right, motion carries. All right, moving on to item number 18, which is 355 Oneida Street. All right, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Scott Haynes. I work for W&A Engineering at 355 Anita Street, Suite D100. It's been over 10 years since we first began to form a new plan for the renovation of what's now known as the Southern Mill Complex. At that time, the property was at serious risk of being lost to the elements. The majority of the roofs were compromised, and much of the existing structure was near complete failure. Also at the time, I found that many Athenians were unaware of this complex and its role in the history of the turn-of-the-century industry in our town. In many ways, I think that's understandable. There would have been few reasons for someone to travel down that end of Anita Street. Fortunately, that is no longer the case. Today, we have a thriving development that welcomes the public for business, dining, and lodging opportunities. When I travel around the state and beyond, and I see that Creature Comforts logo in the cold section, I feel a sense of pride, not only because I know it was made in Athens, but because I know it was made in the same complex that I have the privilege to come to work at every day. What was once a liability for this community has now been returned as a community asset. What we're proposing with this application represents the final area of redevelopment for this complex. And like all the work that has come before it, it will be something that will continue to elevate the project. I appreciate your consideration of this item, and I also appreciate all the past support that you've had for this development, because it would not be what it is today without that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haynes. Is there anyone else here to speak to this item on Oneida Street? Seeing none, move to Commissioner Fisher for a motion. This is in District 5.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I've got a motion from Commissioner Fisher, with a second from Commissioner Link. Is that right? All right. Commissioner Fisher, any remarks?
Yes, sir, Mayor. This is a very good project. I'm glad to see that we're gonna be upgrading that particular area. There's a boutique hotel that's there. There's some restaurants, there's office space there. And I think it's gonna really add a lot of value to that particular space. And there's a little bit of historic preservation there that they're gonna try to keep with the bricks and stuff. So I think it's a very good project. I'm looking forward to the development of that biggest property.
Thanks, Commissioner Fisher. Any follow-up, Commissioner Link?
Yeah, I mean, when the redevelopment of this property was first proposed eons ago, it was to include residential, and, you know, this allows that to kind of come back, and it's prime property to get some residential in there, and it is a thriving development, and I'm really happy to see that historic resource preserved and thrive.
Commissioner Hamby.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. I just, thinking back on what Mr. Haynes was saying, I don't know if some of y'all were here when I think Amy Cassane, who used to be at the historic Athens, organized a tour bus. You remember that, Kelly? And we went over there to look at all of this property before it was done. And y'all would be amazed about how far they have come if you didn't see it before. I mean, it's really remarkable, and it's very appreciative of what the folks have done over there.
They have indoor restrooms now.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And no leaky roofs, as far as I know, so.
There are roofs.
There are roofs. Yes, there were no roofs then. So. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, have Attorney Drake read the ordinance.
Amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to amending a planned development comprising approximately 18.174 acres located at 3550 Oneida Street, CNIPD Commercial Neighborhood and Industrial Plan Development, and for other purposes.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, item 19 is regarding 380 Hawthorne Extension. Is there anyone here tonight to speak to this?
Good evening, Bryce Hicks, W&A Engineering, 355 Oneida Street. I want to thank you all for your time and consideration. This request is to rezone from the existing commercial general zoning to RM2. And the specific reasoning behind that request, first off, I think we can all agree the CG zoning has no place on a small residential street. And the reason we went for RM2 is simply because that is the zoning that is the residential zoning that's present in the area and is compatible with the future land use map. It's also compatible with the proposed future land use map. This is a property, it's less than an acre, and it has challenging terrain on site. It would not support any large apartment building or other dense residential development. And we've also been advised by the Public Utilities Department that this area has a sanitary sewer capacity issue that would make intense development of the lot more difficult and financially daunting. Mr. Tran, our client, he intends to build his home on a portion of the lot and then to build 1 or 2 additional homes on the property. Now, we understand that there may be a desire for this application to be put on hold or withdrawn and maybe perhaps resubmitted at a later date with a different targeted zone. And we understand that that may be the best way to get everyone on board for this proposal. But in the interest of trying to keep it moving forward, we're prepared to offer a voluntary condition to the rezone that no more than 3 dwelling units may be built on the lot. That way, it simply cannot be combined with other lots to create a large, dense development that would be out of character with the neighborhood. This request is not out of character with the existing residential pattern and the density of the neighborhood. It's consistent with the current and proposed future land use map, and the voluntary condition would help assure that what is built would not disrupt or diminish the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Is there anyone else here to speak to this application tonight? Seeing none, I'm going to move to Commissioner Link. Is this in District 2?
Yeah, like the applicant said, the surrounding zoning is RM2, but if you visit that street, it has no characteristics of an RM2 community.
These are small, modest cottage homes, most of which are owner-occupied or family-occupied, and many of which were enabled by the Athens Land Trust and Habitat for Humanity. They are affordable, low, moderate-income family homes. A straight-up RM2 rezone would allow for that infiltration of student housing or denser townhome, luxury housing. I appreciate the conditions that are being offered, and I think that's a good start. I spoke with the applicant and the property owner, and I also had conversations with folks at the Land Trust and Habitat for Humanity. I would like to table this to see if maybe we could tweak those conditions. I don't understand why that property has the zoning on it
Motion is
that
to hold for
does.
one cycle?
Yeah, I just want to hold it for one cycle. Maybe we could come up with a couple other conditions to assure that the future redevelopment is in line with what is existing on the street.
All right, I've got a motion and a second to hold for one cycle. Commissioner Hamby, any further remarks? All right. Anything else? I'll have Attorney Drake read the ordinance.
Ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to rezoning one parcel of land comprising approximately 0.9 acres located at 360 Hawthorne Extension from CG Commercial General to RM2 Mixed Density Residential and for other purposes.
All right, to hold for one cycle, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. We'll see that next month. All right, item 20 is for a commercial short-term rental at 159 Marlin Street. Is there anyone here to speak to that this evening? Good evening.
My name is Adam Kilgo. I live at 3541 Township Valley Court in Marietta, and this is in reference to 159 Marlin Street, which is a home that my wife and I have purchased. I just want to say good evening to all of you. It's nice to see all of you again. This is the second time. I've seen Commissioner Thornton here quite a few times. We've been working with Commissioner Thornton to determine if our STR application would possibly be approved. She's been instrumental in getting us to this point, and I believe the end result lay with the commission as a whole. We started with this process that we thought was a very clean, clear, cut and dry approach to legal approval for our ability to occasionally use our home as a short-term rental. We've come to learn that this process is not as clearly defined as we previously thought. We now understand that the commission has their work cut out, as we believe that the process needs more clear lines for approval. We do not believe that there will be a way to put every STR into a specific box. We have followed the process laid out in front of us and have even obtained letters of support from 4 of our neighbors, which we understand is not the norm. Also, we are mostly surrounded by college rentals, with the exception of the neighbors who have already provided their support for our occasional STR. We are continually improving upon our home, and we are investing heavily into our community. Our investments don't lie only with our home, but also with our neighborhood, our neighbors themselves, and the entire community as a whole. As previously stated, there needs to be a more clear path made available to the general public and those who may come after us, but we ask you to please address the approval process based on the entire picture. Not every applicant is going to be the same, and we feel that we have addressed all concerns with our STR application. Commissioner Thornton has directed us to potentially table this application or withdraw it entirely. We can only table this application for 40 days for guidelines to be addressed, and a withdrawal means that we forfeit the hard-earned $850 application fee that was accepted by the Planning Commission for us to seek this approval. All of you have collectively have the authority to approve or disapprove, and I think that this is important. Who is applying is important and also matters. BlackRock is a large corporation that is buying 1 in 4 homes in America. This is the largest problem for the housing market and preventing home ownership. We would expect and appreciate you denying those applicants through this process, but we are not one of those huge corporations. We are just regular folk trying to make our way of life better, and this is just as important as the process as it stands. Although we understand that this process is ever evolving, we look to the Mayor and Commission for guidance before we make a decision to waste our opportunity for approval. We are happy to take recommendations and answer any questions that you may have, but please consider who we are, not just what we are trying to accomplish here.
Thank you, Mr. Kilgore. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 20 tonight? Seeing none, I'll move to Commissioner Thornton for a motion.
Well, of course, my motion, since Adam didn't take my advice, is going to be to approve this for all the reasons that he said. We have never had residents support a STR come before us. The street is technically a dead-end street. They have committed to creating jobs for maintenance folk and folk to maintain their house. This is a unique situation, but I cannot pull back my support knowing that this is, and if this street was fully occupied, like I said, there are like 3 houses that are vacant, literally falling down, 2 of them. I could see something, and there's already a STR over there. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this because of its uniqueness.
Got a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I've got a second from Commissioner Davenport. All right, Commissioner Davenport, any follow-ups?
He had a Brave shirt on, so. But no, this is what I think we need when these SDRs come before us. Like an applicant that works with the community, that talks to the neighbors, get their buy-in, who has a long-term vision for not only just that neighborhood, but for our community as a whole. I am not a big fan of STRs, but the applicant is done his they have done their due diligence in incorporating the STR within the community. I have been down that road. It is what it is with the 3 dilapidated homes, but I look forward to approving this application.
Anything else? Commissioner Fisher?
Mayor, I'll be recusing myself from this.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And a reminder that I'm abstaining on the short-term rental
Got
topic.
a recusal and an abstention from respectively Commissioners Fisher and Wright. Anything else? Commissioner Myers?
Yeah, being quiet tonight, but I still have to share some thoughts on this and perhaps pose some questions. First, I wanted to clarify with the attorney whether there is any way for us, through the rules and regulations, I think the answer is no, but to put any kind of hold on these till we have some consistent guidelines that we've requested from the planning department.
Tonight, it would be only to table it for up to 40 days.
Okay, and do we have any idea when we're going to be hearing from the planning department?
I think there's a work session coming up at the next work session meeting.
Within 40 days?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Okay. Because of that, I'm going to make a motion to hold it. I just feel that there's a lot of inconsistency here, and I appreciate all the efforts that the applicant made here, but I am concerned about some things. I had some constituent in my district who has some other short-term rentals not in my district, but and has had them for 5 years, but was so nervous about putting forth hers for approval because of the uncertainty, and the location might be different. We don't have a sunset for someone who has a commercial STR, has had a commercial STR in a RM zone, where we do have that for someone in a single-family zone. So if she'd been doing that in my neighborhood, she'd be able to continue doing that without putting things in. So we don't have, and that's because we have a process like this gentleman has followed, which is also what the applicants a couple of months ago who were looking for do that in my district, and I understand the situation was different. But since we have this, I know I didn't get a second, but
I'll second it.
Yes.
I mean, I made a motion. You can. I can do that.
I'll second it.
Okay.
So we've got we're going to do a substitute motion from
You
Commissioner
don't have to do it.
Myers and a second from Commissioner Link.
Yes.
All right, to hold for a single cycle. All right, Commissioner Link, any follow-up?
Yeah, I agree. You know, we need some more criteria to apply these, and I've spoken with some planning commissioners. They're frustrated. I'm frustrated. You know, we've had ones come before us that have gotten denied, yet they're in, you know, what are effectively college rental communities. Here we have a street that is could very well become, a family street, the redevelopment, future redevelopment could assure that that's a good place for families to live. I'm hoping that the planning commission can come forward and help us unravel this beast that is STRs and help us come up with some clear criteria that will see to it that these go in appropriate places, and folks can move forward.
All right, we've got a substitute motion and a second to hold. All right, any further input? Commissioner
Yeah,
Fisher.
and just to follow up, Mayor, and I do think we need to, and everybody said it, we need to be consistent, and we're not. Because I'm looking at our next one, is a denial. So, and again, but I understand where it's located at, so we are not consistent as a whole, how we approve these or don't approve. So I agree, I'm hoping we get a lot from the work session that we're gonna have on next Tuesday, and maybe give us a little bit more insight. But we are not very consistent right now, how we approve and deny short-term rentals, so.
So the motion is to hold one cycle. All right, all in favor, please say
Mr. Mayor, can I
aye.
read the ordinance?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to special use approval in the RM-1 mixed density residential district for one parcel of land located at 159 Marlin Street and for other purposes.
All right, motion to hold, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed?
Me,
All right, note, please, Commissioner Davenport opposed. All right, and we've got
Abstain.
abstentions from Commissioners Fisher and Wright.
She's got it.
All right, moving to item 21. Item 21 regards 101 Wood Lake Drive, Unit 506. Motion from the Planning Commission was for denial. Is there anyone here to speak to that this evening? Good evening.
Good evening. How is everybody? I am Christina Citro. I live at 101 Wood Lake Drive, Unit 409. I am the president of the HOA of the unit that we are discussing. I just wanted to point out that one of the reasons I think the denial went through and has been unanimous amongst everybody, the applicant didn't even bother to show up to defend her application. This is one of the reasons that we do not want to have an STR. They are owners that live out of town. We do not have any on-site management. It's single-family homes, graduate students, professionals. It's our home, and we don't want to see people coming and going every 2 or 3 days like a hotel. And it's just not an environment for that. Wood Lake is very cozy, gated, quiet. We don't even have direct access to it. You have to go down, make a U-turn to even get into the place. So we feel very cozy, coveted. We all know our neighbors. We all have keys to everybody's homes. We help take care of pets. And I just don't think that the owner and the applicant would be a good hands-on STR owner in this area. So I've talked before, we've discussed this. I've submitted on behalf of all of our neighbors a stack of people. I don't think there was one person in favor of this. So I just wanted to come here and make my argument again that, you know, if you do an application like that, you want to be a good STR owner and homeowner, you would show up and defend yourself. So anyway, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And please keep Wood Lake as Wood Lake is. It's beautiful. We love it.
Thank you, Ms. Citro.
you.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone else here to speak to item 21 tonight?
I'm Mickey Dillard with Dillard Realty, and I own condos within 100 feet or so of the 101 Wood Lake Drive. I just want to first say, we need to really be calling this the right name. It's STR is really a mini hotel. Mini hotels are that's your STRs are your weekly and nightly rentals. That is a mini hotel, and that should be in commercial zoning, not in residential zoning. I live in a condo, and we had a terrible experience when a tenant decided to rent it out for football games through Airbnb. So we came home to no parking spaces and noise until the middle of the night. All of the condos I'm in, we have a rule that says no weekly or nightly rentals. Also, from a sales standpoint, you cannot get, in most cases, conventional financing if your condo community allows weekly and nightly rentals. So if y'all start allowing that to enter our condominium communities, you're hurting the property values when an owner can't sell because nobody can get a loan to be in there. People choose condominium communities because of the feeling of neighborhood, sense of security, and knowing your neighbors. And if I'd wanted to live next to a mini hotel, I would have just gone to the Holiday Inn and not bought my condo because of all the expenses of home ownership. So to allow these in condominiums where you have 12 inches of wall between the next person to the next mini hotel, and I think we need to start calling it what it is. It's a mini hotel. And you're trying to push it into our condo residential communities. So I hope you will consider that when you're making your decisions. And also in residential where homes are that are not condominiums, if you have children and they're out playing, do you want them to be next to a house where there's 10 or 15 people coming in on a weekend? So I want to leave this with, I wonder how many of you live next to a mini hotel. And to vote yes to any of these means you must like it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Diller. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 21?
Evening. My name's Alicia Malden, and I live at 110 Woodlake Drive, Unit 5. And I just want to thank you. I know this is our third meeting, that most of us familiar faces now. Just thank you for listening to us. Like we've spoken before, and like you keep hearing, Woodlake is beautiful. We love living there. We're here to protect what we have. Like we said, we're comprised of professionals, people that work at UGA. We have students. We have retirees, people that work at the hospitals. I'm a nurse that works at Piedmont. Been there for almost 20 years. I've been in Woodlake for almost 10 years. And I don't know if you realize, but Woodlake is comprised of multiple phases, and the ladies that you've seen here over the last 3 meetings, we are all board members of one or more of the phases. So when we're up here, we're talking for our neighbors, we're talking for our friends, we're talking for our relatives. So we're speaking for Woodlake itself. And we just don't feel like that these short-term rentals fit into our lifestyle, our way of life. You keep hearing that, how we're so close. We take care of each other and all the things that we do for our neighbors. And we just would appreciate that you would continue to deny this, and just thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Malden. Anyone else here to speak to item number 21 tonight?
Yes, my name is Mary Stone. My address is 125 Woodlake Drive, Unit 113. That's in Athens, of course. And what I want to address is something that no one else here can, and that is I live in the flats. Between the flats and this condo that's in question, which is in the Highlands, there is a natural area. And so this summer, we've had problems with unaccompanied minors coming from the Highlands through the natural area because they want to fish in the ponds, which of course are private and they shouldn't be there, but that's beside the point. The point is, I'm concerned that if these people come into the short-term rental, they might be tempted as well to explore the natural area and imperil my safety because they're wandering through the natural area, which is actually owned by the flats where I live, and coming in and exploring territory that they really shouldn't be in. And that is my concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
think I'm the last one.
Good evening.
Hi, I'm Jane Quant. I live at 118 Mallard Point Way. And my biggest thing is that we're a community. I know my neighbors' names. I know the dogs' names. And it's just disconcerting to me that someone that doesn't live in my community can come in and try to make money at the expense of all of us that actually live in the community. So that's why I'm against a short-term rental. They're not there, I am, and they shouldn't have the right to make money when I don't think that it's good for our community. So that would be what I would say I'm against it for. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Quant. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 21? All right, seeing none, this is in District 7, so I'll turn to Commissioner Culpepper.
Yeah, a couple of questions. So I agree. I want to deny the STR application, but if I want to be consistent with what we're doing with the other STRs that were brought up, can we ask the Planning Commission to put, or is there verbiage in the STR ordinances about HOAs or condo associations superseding any STR ordinances?
There's not currently language like that. That's a separate private contractual matter between the individual, if that's in, those regulations would supersede if they were already in a homeowner association's covenants, so to speak, is my understanding of the law, but there's no language addressing that.
So, and I don't want to put y'all on hold, but I want to fix this problem so we don't have other condo associations this coming up. So can we direct the Planning Commission to add that to the ordinance? I hate putting this on hold, but I want to get it right so we're consistent across the board when any of these come up.
Well, this commission will have the final authority to come up with what the language of the ordinance will be regardless of what the Planning Commission recommends.
We can add it, yeah.
You can add it. You can add it. Or you can direct them to add it. You can direct them to add it. But,
the reason I'm doing this, I'm trying to get
I
it
will
right.
say, the ordinance is the ordinance right now, though.
Okay. So can I put it on hold until the next cycle to direct the Planning Commission to put language in there that condo associations, rules and regulations precede any STR ordinances, which if they don't allow it, the condo association will not allow it, then they cannot have STRs in their complexes.
Just as a kind of procedural matter, we can only hold for a single cycle.
Yeah, that's fine. Is that enough time?
Well, and it would not be enough time because it's probably going to be the following cycle when we finalize the language. So my recommendation would be sort of recognizing common interest in denial of this. I would urge you to deny it, recognizing that we can pursue the sort of broader question of interplay with condo associations, kind of following those Planning Commission recommendations, which will be coming to us in the next couple of months, but it would just be the cycle after this. So we are going to pursue that, and you certainly, as a commission, have every opportunity to adopt language particular to that point.
Okay.
So as the motion, Commissioner.
Yeah, that's fine. A motion to deny, as long as y'all understand, I'm trying to create a consistency across the board. We're not approving some and denying some.
Second.
All right, so got a motion from Commissioner Culpepper to deny, second from Commissioner Hamby. Commissioner Hamby, any follow-up?
No.
Commissioner Myers?
I do have a quick follow-up to reply to John's, Commissioner Culpepper's concern, because my immediate reaction was I need to be consistent, but I think the reminder that the applicant isn't here at all, and this is a special use, rezoning request here. There is no one from the applicant here. To me, that's a whole different issue, and that's a whole different reason for denying it, unrelated to the short-term rental. So I feel okay denying this one when we didn't take action on the other one. So,
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah, Mayor. So I have to ask the attorney this question. If a neighborhood or even a condo association, if they have HOA rules, those rules will supersede any type of short-term type rentals, right? Wouldn't that take care of that if somebody wanted to do?
That's my understanding of the law in that area. My homeowners association could take me to court and enforce covenants that are in there if they chose to.
Right. But normally that would supersede.
It would supersede our ordinance if that
Right,
was there,
yeah.
because that's a private contractual matter I've entered into in purchasing the property.
Right. So And that's, man, John, to your point, if they have a HOA association in place, and they got a covenant, I think they would be, okay. At least that's my thinking, so.
But, I'll have Attorney Drake read the ordinance.
Ordinance to amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia with respect to special use approval in the RM-1 Mixed Entity Residential District for one parcel of land located at 101 Wood Lake Drive, Unit 506, and for other purposes.
All right, motion second are to deny. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
One abstain.
One abstention from Commissioner Wright. All right, item 22 is modification of section 9-4-15 of the Code and Ordinances regarding demolition review procedures. And I do have one individual, Mr. Steve DeShiel, signed up for the 10-minute opportunity, so I'll call Mr. DeShiel to the podium first, and then we'll take other input on that item. And you don't have to use the full 10 minutes, but that opportunity is yours.
Look, I could use 20. What I've got to talk to y'all about at the end of the meeting, the 3 minutes, is a lot more serious than this. But I want to weigh in on this, and I'm not even sure what the amendment is, but I'm Steve DeShiel. I live at 957 Milky Way Parkway, and thank you for letting me wear my hat, or you would see what a bald eagle I really am. And I am still a groundhog. I don't know what the amendment is, but I want to weigh in on this. Is the property where I reside was up for demo when I purchased it, and I purchased it at a good price. And Mr. Partridge, Mike Partridge, was my inspector, and he told me, he said, go and take out a general construction permit immediately, and of which I did. At the time, there was not a state law that said that you had to be a general contractor of anything over $2,500 through SOS. Now there is. You have to be a general contractor to take out a permit of anything over $2,500. There is a way to get around that. You just apply for the permit for less than $2,500. I purchased the property, did the deed transfer, and began on the reconstruction. And we've been through 25 permits with 25 certificates of completion. And that property is under application to the National Park Service now. It was under application to Historic Preservation through the DNR. Now it is, there's no statute of limitations on it. It is directly applied to the National Park Service. Now, I used to know Carol Shule. She was the chair, Department of the Interior, for United States Treasures. That includes Yosemite, Yellowstone, Rushmore, and that is what we're after. And I used to tell her, I used to call her in Washington, and I used to say, I don't think it's going too good. I am not getting respect from the DNR. I'm not getting respect from Historic Preservation with planning and zoning. And Carol Shule, a personal friend, she's retired now, used to tell me, Steve, 2 wooden cabins built in 1890 and a wedding chapel that you have built is a national treasure. It's on an Army Corps of Engineers river. I used to talk to Hugo Bernstein. He was our Army Corps of Engineers guy out of the Savannah District. And I used to talk to him about the river all the time, about jurisdiction on dock permits and so forth and so on. He told me, he said, Steve, if you have a leaf in the palm of your hand, it has a drop of water on it, the federal government can take jurisdiction of it. While I'm talking about this property, we have evolved into an application to the National Park Service. I have, on this go-around, I think 3 or 4 SPLOST referendums that deal, even though it's T-SPLOST, I was informed, I was told to go ahead and enter it again, my reservoir proposals. The upper and lower Pulaski Creek Reservoir, the Loop Reservoir, which needs to be reestablished, are deep water reservoirs and will sustain rainbow. And I know where the southernmost hatchery is north of Dahlonega. If we establish these reservoirs, there's a good possibility that our application can go through U.S. Fish and Wildlife rather than just National Park Service. So, what I'm here to talk about is this process of an amendment of the demolition. If you go to code enforcement or permits, and I talked to Faye Lamb earlier, and if y'all didn't know, Faye's about to retire. And I talked to Faye and informed me about, I have done this for a friend of mine before in the past to go and get the nuisance abatement list from planning. And it'd be, when we picked it up, the list, it was 20 or 30 houses, and they're all up for either demolition of repair or, and I'm talking to young college guys right now, that if you want to get into an industry, this is a good way to do it. You go and get the nuisance abatement list of houses and properties that are up for demo. You contact the owner and buy it at a premium. Do what Mr. Partridge informed me to do, go directly to permits, take out a general construction permit. That saves it. You're going to redo the house. You move in, it has to, now, and if you don't have a license, all the permits have to be under $2,500. So you take out the general contractors for under $2,500, then you start the plumbing, electrical, structural. You take out permits. If you'll look at the property that I reside on is in the Superior Court Clerk's website under Little Cloud LLC. It's over 1,000 pages to the National Park Service. And I'm in the process of I'm not a computer guy, so I'm in the process of trying to find out how I can electronically get that up to U.S. Fish and Wildlife and National Park Service. Howard, my law librarian, and I'm sure Howard is watching, is going to include my USB. I'm not a computer person. I don't like e-file. I think it is much of a travesty as the 60s voter registration. Howard is helping me put the USB drive onto the back of my National Park Service, and this USB drive is comprehensive from the year 2000. So it has reservoir proposals, Pulaski Creek, Loop Reservoir, the Wetlands Reservoir. There's a place to put in a lock for the wetlands that would back up the wetlands, that we would not have to pull water from Bear Creek during a drought. That area, those wetlands where the Indians lived, is why Governor Elbert in 1785 said that this is going to be where our flagship university is. That resource, that natural resource of all that water, those wetlands and the springs, and the reservoir proposals are from spring fresh water. Okay, so that is just where the application of redoing a property has evolved to. The way if you're a young guy, you want to get into construction, go and get the nuisance abatement list, ride around, see what properties you like, call the owner and say, can I buy this at an affordable price, make the deed transfer, and then go to permits and take out a general construction permit, and that will save the property. All right, what else did I don't even know what this amendment is about, but that is a way for someone to affordably get into a construction industry without, you move into the property. If you like Athens, you're a student, you're a university student, you want to stay in town, you buy the property, redo the property, move in the property. The abatement list, it was 20 or 30. I don't know how much it is now, but I think that is pertinent as to what number 22 is. I mean, but that is how you save a property and have an affordable place to live. Or I've gotten the impression that this is against development. It's against demo for development. I'm hoping that that's what this amendment is against. Because it used to happen all the time. I would have somebody with the Office of Sustainability come by and say, are you ready to sell? And I always told them, I said, no, I've been under application with the Department of the Interior since 1988. And we're not selling this property. This property is going to be here forever. So that is 10 minutes. I mean, I can't believe it. I wanted to weigh in. What I'm talking to you on the 3 minutes is the College Avenue trestle. And it's a travesty. It's a county liability. People go up under that trestle to commit insurance fraud. So I'll talk to you on the 3 minutes at the end of the meeting on that.
Thank you, Mr. Shield. Is there anyone else here to speak to item number 22 this evening? Item 22, text amendment. All right, seeing none, I'll come to Commission for action. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll move to approve.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Hamby, and I do have a second from Commissioner Link. Commissioner Hamby, any remarks? Commissioner Link?
Yeah, the public should know that this is an amendment that is tightening up our demolition ordinance, adding more criteria to assure that it is defensible in court, so we don't see another historic building demolished because we've been dragged into court and pressured. So I'm hoping that this will allow us to save more of our historic resources.
Further remarks? Commissioner Johnson?
So thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had an example of, I received contact from Molly in the planning department about an individual who completed an application for a demolition for a property at 1895 Tallahassee. And it was during our break, and I wasn't checking email, and I wanted to publicly apologize to Mr. Ivy for not getting in touch with him. However, when I did respond with 2 weeks' notice before the deadline ended, I found it a precarious question to ask of a commissioner if I was okay with the demolition of a private residence. It was not a residence that was remotely close to historic. And so I responded to the planning department with a series of questions asking for, like, what precipitated the reason for the commissioners to be involved at this level and for a resident to have to wait on us. And the response I received was the review process was initially adopted as a way for the community to be made aware of requests. But that doesn't happen. The community isn't made aware of the requests until afterwards, and that's only if I choose to notify the community. This is, I think, for the properties that are not under the historic preservation umbrella, I think it's not in our wheelhouse to evaluate and hold up property owners from demoing their property. I have no expertise. I don't know what to look for. I ask for advice on what criteria is there available. There isn't any, so I don't know why it's something that's been put in the commissioner's lap as a responsibility, and it's a big responsibility. Because of the delay in my responding to Mr. Ivy, he had to wait until 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it, and I could have asked my questions, got the answer, and said no right away. And so I would like to talk about that in the future, that historic properties, I get it, but other properties outside of that umbrella, it doesn't make sense for us. I mean, I'm not an expert, and I don't know what to look for. That's all I have to say.
Just very briefly, Commissioner, when this was developed around 15 years ago, the desire was to ensure that commissioners had ample opportunity to prospectively pursue historic designation for either a landmark property or a neighborhood, or engage with the property owner around potential donation of materials from the structure to an outfit like Habitat for Humanity, or another place that might deal with older building materials. And of course, as time has gone on, we've recognized the need to have just a tighter criteria, which of course is outlined in this language here today. So, anyone else? All right. Go ahead and get the ordinance from Attorney Drake.
To amend the Code of Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, with respect to review of exterior demolition or relocation applications and for other purposes.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, we are now going to move to old and new business. And so this evening, those are items 1, 2, 4, and 23 through 28. 1, 2, 4, and 23 through 28. So is there anyone here to speak to any of those items this evening? 1, 2, 4, 23 through 28. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Shanice Allen, live at 130 Meredith Ridge Road, Athens, District 1. I was home watching the commission meeting and saw a group of residents from, I think, District 2, 7, and 9 speak about short-term rentals. And I heard the commission really trying to work with the community about the rentals and to keep their community nice and cozy and, you know, really support those residents. So then I heard Commissioner Culpepper and Commissioner Myers talking about keeping things consistent. And that made me think about the situation that's going on in District 3 with the rock quarry. We want our community to be warm and cozy and quiet, but we can't. We have residents whose homes are falling apart, and I know you all know about it because I have sent email after email after email and get no reply. But Mayor, thank you for your reply recently. Didn't mean to be hostile in the email, but at some point, you get tired. And I am here tonight to just ask you guys to help us to get our community nice and warm and cozy and let our residents live in their homes. They're falling apart. We have residents that have spent their life savings, their retirement, to repair their homes. And listening to tonight, to the other residents, it made me know that there is a real problem with consistency. So I'm asking you all to deal with the problem that's at hand with the rock quarry and the damages of the homes, and not to enter to discuss this until you deal with the problem that's on the table. And does it really take 4 years to make a design? If you want to really make it into a water reservoir, does it really take 4 years? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Is there anyone else here to speak to old or new business this evening?
Good evening. My name is Willow Fambro, and I live at 1053 Spring Valley Road. I live less than a mile from the rock quarry. My home is only 10 years old. My driveway is cracking up. My porches are falling back toward the house. And my garage has cracks in the floor, run from that way and that way. And when I'm sitting in my living room looking at Netflix some days, these loud boom sound like somebody hit a bomb. One time I was in the bathroom, and I could feel the vibration moving through my house, And when it got to the bathroom wall, which is an outer wall, it just rambled on down the road. But all of this is destroying my home. I retired. I have pretty good retirement. I retired from the Postal Service. Have pretty good savings. But it's not my intent to spend my savings, my vacation money, my new car money on something that is going on that I'm not causing. I don't have a problem spending my money when it's something that I did. But we're not doing anything in our community but being affected by the rock quarry, and nobody seems to care. I think Dr. Allen put it really, she put it just right in the heart of things. Why are we treated different in East Athens? I've lived in East Athens since I was 8 years old. I'm 76 now. East Athens looks worse than it did when I was 8 years old. When the Housing Authority dropped Nellie B Apartments on us and stopped the building of nice brick homes for black people, it was like a bomb. And you all have the ability to do something about that bomb over there at that rock quarry. So I would be really appreciative, and I know the rest of my community would be really appreciative if you all would stop, talk to us, because you have not, and hear what we have to say. And I don't know, maybe you didn't look into the deal real good, but all of this, our complaints have been going on before you guys purchased that property. So I don't know whether you did your due diligence or not, but it is adversely affecting us. And I pray that tonight you all will set all of that aside, come to our community and talk to us.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Is there anyone else here to speak to any item of old or new business this evening?
Is number 5 old or new business?
Just a second.
We already voted.
Flip over there. So 5 was on the consent agenda, so it was approved earlier tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're going to come to commission for discussion. All right, Commissioner Johnson, you asked that number 1 be removed for discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't want it on consent because I didn't want to vote in favor of this agenda item. I recall in our June 3rd Mayor and Commission meeting, I inquired about the compliance, whether the Athens-Clarke County government was in compliance yet with GDOT and the Title VI coordinator position, and the interim county manager at that time said that I believe a response was submitted and they were waiting to hear back. So I was the lone vote no, I think, and the vote passed despite not having assurance that we were in compliance. So there's another grant, which is number 1 on the agenda tonight, and I can't find any documentation of training, community outreach, or other compliance activities at all on our county website to indicate that regardless of applying and getting in order with our compliance, no activity has taken place. So that's why I wanted it pulled off, because I didn't want it to be on consent, because I didn't want to vote for it. I'm not voting for it. That's all. Thank you.
Attorney Drake or anyone on staff, I don't know if there's any update about our engagement. So we have not got a response yet. Is there a motion regarding this item?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Wright and second from Commissioner Hamby. Commissioner Wright, any remarks about our paving? Commissioner Hamby? All right, if there's an ordinance associated with this.
Ordinance to amend the FY26 annual operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to provide grant funding to the Transportation and Public Works Department from the Georgia Department of Transportation, GDOT 2025 Local Maintenance Improvement, LMIG Safety Action Plan for guardrail repair and for other purposes.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No. Sorry.
Please note opposition from Commissioner Johnson. And Commissioner Johnson, you wanted discussion of item 2, which is the award for the exhibit at Sandy Creek Nature Center.
Yes, thank you. I have a series of questions, and I just wanted clarification. I read through the agenda item, and I was quite confused. So this is a SPLOST 2020 project number 15. I didn't see anything on the Athens-Clarke County website related to SPLOST or capital or anything related to sub-project 2. So in some instances, I'm speaking from transparency. I couldn't find that. But this focuses on an exhibit, graphics, multimedia, public art, for $317,000, with a requested budget amendment up to $60,000. So some of the concerns that I have, and I would appreciate just some clarification. So with this particular project, there was an RFP conducted and only one bidder applied. And there's no indication at all in the document, the agenda packet, that explains why that's the case, or if they submitted a second round of RFP. Like usually when there's only one person or one entity that applies, the department would normally make a second attempt to recruit other individuals or companies to apply for a bid. And so there was just no mention of it, and I'm curious about that, if that happened.
I'll say broadly, this is something of a challenging environment for kind of all manner of contracting, so we're receiving fewer bids on some kinds of projects. I don't know if management or capital team wants to provide any other context for.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is the project being as small as the dollar amount is also has contributed to the numbers. I don't believe it was rebid. It was just that single bid with it. I think they had indicated the previous company that was involved in the original exhibit had talked about a project like this, if they were to do it, would be considerably more expensive. So I think that's part of the reason why they did not submit a bid associated with it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Thornton?
So I have.
Did you follow up?
Really quickly, I can go through them really quickly. So there was a donation in November 2018. It hadn't been processed for 7 years, and I was just curious why it had not been accepted. That's bizarre. It's unusual, and I'm curious why the administrative step wasn't completed.
I don't know if management has any understanding of that.
I don't, obviously, I don't know the answer to that, so.
Sure you do, Bob.
Yeah, it didn't happen this week. So.
Okay, the next one is, I have one more, forgive me. Maybe go to Ovita and I'll find it. I
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner
apologize.
Thornton.
Just for that small amount that you mentioned for that, is that the 1% that somewhere in
This isn't a public art project, if that's what you were thinking. This is a.
But I thought with SPLOST, did we at some point say a certain percentage would always go to arts and?
Yeah, the SPLOST advisory group kind of surveys every one of the projects in the package and recommends some for public art and some not. Like, so for example, if we're buying new like radios that public safety officers are going to have on their belts, that would be an item that wouldn't generally be recommended for public art. But if there's going to be an intersection improvement or a new trail.
So this
or
is not that
new facility.
1%? That's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
this is not the public art
Okay.
piece. Commissioner Myers?
Yeah, I did want to point out, because I think it is a little confusing sometimes to find documents online, but having served on those SPLOST committees myself, I'm more familiar with it. But there is a program monthly project update for the SPLOST 2020 and Project 15, and all of them are on there. But interestingly, on the donation, I'm just looking at it right now, and it does not, include that donation source in the funding for that project. And I don't know if that's because it's somewhere else or something or other, but, that's just a little aside there to see if that should have been included, if that was just forgotten in that, to put into that chart when they were doing it. But for the public as well, there are really great updates, or you gotta do a little clicking to get into them, but on the SPLOST projects, and that are pretty descriptive of what's going on. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that.
Someone like to place a motion on the floor?
I've got a couple more comments.
I'll get a motion and then I'll follow up.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Hamby. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Second from Commissioner Thornton. Go ahead, Commissioner Johnson.
Okay, yes, I appreciate it. Thank you. So these questions or these concerns that I'm raising speak to the bigger issue of, I think most of us behind the rail are confused about SPLOST projects, the money available in SPLOST projects when the balance changes with SPLOST projects without having a detailed expenditure line item report. There are questions, and so I'm raising these questions not necessarily to torpedo this agenda item, but to just say there is great information on the county website if you can find it. Our residents cannot find it. I cannot find it 50% of the time, and I have to contact the SPLOST department and ask them to send it to me. I want to point out one thing, last thing. Under the purpose section in the agenda, under item C, it asks for the mayor and commission to execute all project-related documents. I think that has gotten us in trouble before. Because you have change orders, amendments, future cost overruns, additional scope modifications. This project has already extended the timeframe for completion by 7 years. So some of those, it speaks to scope creep by not being aware of some of these changes and us having a transparent process. And that's all I wanted to comment on. Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm not sure I understand your comments. There's a specific scope that was
It was,
in the bid and offer, and certainly sometimes that in the midst of a project is in need of a modification, say, should a foundation be insufficient to support an exhibit, but generally speaking, this is a pretty clear bid and award.
Well, this says original voter approval was in November 19, project approved February 22, still not complete August 25, 6+ year project timeline for an exhibit update is excessive. This is not the cost of building.
Yeah, just kind of for the public, generally in our SPLOST programs, there's a large slate of projects, and sometimes those roll out over a number of years. So we've got a motion, a second. Could you read that ordinance for me, Attorney Drake?
Ordinance to amend the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax 2020 Program Budget so as to provide additional funding for project number 15, Sandy Creek Nature Center Exhibit, and for other purposes.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? All right, item 5 was the kind of end of the fiscal year budget amendment ordinance. Go ahead and.
It's number 4.
It's number 4.
Number 4, I apologize. And Commissioner Johnson, you had a question about this
Yes.
one?
Well, I just want to make sure, so at the June 3rd meeting, Commissioner Davenport made a motion to deny the existing agenda and to recommend $3 million from interest earned from the SPLOST 2011 program to be moved into the SPLOST 2020 program project number 14. I was confused by this agenda item, and I just wanted to make sure that this agenda item is not extracting money out of project number 14 for SPLOST 2020, because I'm not sure how much interest earned money is available in the SPLOST 2011 program.
I don't understand this to be drawing from a SPLOST line item, is that correct?
It's earned interest. That's what it is. It's earned interest from this 2011 project to the 2020 project.
Yeah, so it's just earned interest, not coming out of any project, I think is the answer to that question. So I think the answer is, it's not drawing from any existing project, but from earned interest that was in the account, if you will.
So were you going to say something, Andrew?
Yeah.
So what you're referencing from June 3rd was a bit of a hybrid. So that's when the commission gave the direction to merge a SPLOST 2011 project for a youth facility with a SPLOST 2020 project for a park. And so
Yes.
I'll be frank, I don't remember all the nuances of the funding on that. But there is nothing about this action that changes any financial commitments from your prior actions on June 3rd.
Okay, thank you. That's all,
Check to
that's
make
the
a
only question I
motion.
had. That's the only question.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like the motion to approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Johnson to approve and a second from Commissioner Hamby. Could I have you read the ordinance,
Ordinance to
please?
amend the FY25 annual operating capital budget for Athens-Clarke County, Georgia, so as to provide funding for operating budget coverages for the Sheriff's Office and Transportation, Public Works, and for other purposes.
All right, got a motion second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, going to go on to item number 23. 23 is authorization to enter into a lease agreement for the Capital Projects Department, which would be kind of on the top floor of the West Washington deck.
I think there's actually two there, Mr. Mayor. Yep, there's another one that makes a correction to the FY26 budget. If you look at the agenda items, an ordinance for budget amendment to cover FY25 general fund budget deficits in departments and constitutional office, and correct FY26 budget ordinance, correct FY26, and correct FY26 budget ordinance. So I'll read the second one, which we need a second vote on anyway. An ordinance to amend the transportation special purpose local ops and sales. Is this the right? I don't think this is the right one.
Item 4.
That's not the right one.
So we're back at number 4?
Attorney Drake, do we?
This
do-
is 4. That's the fee schedule component, which would be
Did the single vote not cover the whole range of bullet items?
Where you, this
think
right
it
here, don't have
did.
anything to do with that.
If I may, Attorney Drake, there's an item C added to, there's an amendment to the ordinance you just read, which is an item C, that just seeks to correct what we believe is a Scrivener's error in the fee schedule. So in short, both Solid Waste Department and Public Utilities list an initiation fee for starting trash service. It's the same fee, but it's listed in two places. On the public utility side, it's listed incorrectly as $10, whereas the charge is $25 for setup. So it's just a pass-through from public utilities to solid waste. It's something that public utilities collects. So to remediate that error, we've just stricken through that fee on the public utility schedule. So there's no change in the funding at all. It's just a correction of an
I've got
error.
the new attachment, Mr.
And this was added this afternoon.
So is
It was
it,
added yesterday, yeah.
is it staff or the attorney's opinion that the vote we just took covers all of that, or do we need a second vote?
I can read this ordinance. This is not the right one, though, that you handed me. It's not right. That right there is not it. It can't be it.
I think that covers it, Judd.
Yeah, I think it covers it, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
all right, good. All right, we're moving on then to item 23. Again, this is the Capital Projects Department's authorization to enter into a lease agreement. Can I get a motion regarding this
So
item?
moved.
All right, I do have a motion from Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I do have a second from Commissioner Hamby. All right, Commissioner Wright, any
I
remarks?
just, it's been a while since Property Committee did their action items and the history and the issues in the agenda packet summarized that well about how we wanted our departments under this roof. And so I'm glad that this is getting taken care of. We can get our departments together.
Commissioner Hamby, any follow-up?
No, sir.
All right, any other remarks? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, item 24 is a request to rename the Lyndon House Art Center South Gallery after Nancy Lukasiewicz.
So move to approve.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Link, got a second from Commissioner Thornton. Commissioner Link, any remarks?
Yeah, I mean, Nancy was something of a mentor to me when I first moved to Athens in 1993 as a 22-year-old art history graduate student. I wanted to get away from the ivory tower and into the local arts community, and I turned to the Lyndon House. And Nancy kind of taught me everything I know about hanging art and art in the community, how art can affect children. I saw the kids come to the Lyndon House. And as I got a little older, Nancy actually hired me, and I worked for the Lyndon House when it was in transition, when the big gallery was being built, and the Lyndon House Gallery moved to the Morton Theater. We had a couple walls in the Morton Theater, and I was kind of the gallery babysitter when there were shows at the Morton Theater. So I am really excited to see Nancy's name go up in that building, and to honor her. The Lyndon House wouldn't be here if not for Nancy, and the arts community in Athens wouldn't be what it is if not for her. And she's greatly missed, and it's an honor to honor her.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. Commissioner Thornton?
No, I'm going to, oh, shoot, what is that? What is that? No, I have nothing to say. My phone said it all.
All right. I do want to appreciate that we're honoring Nancy Lukasiewicz, really from the 1970s onward. She provided so much support for the Lyndon House Arts Center and for the arts community broadly, as did her late husband, Ronnie Lukasiewicz. And interestingly, Commissioner Thornton, the same time that I knew your son in the late 1990s at Coyle Middle School, her son was a student there as well. So lovely family, and I'm glad that we can honor them.
They were the odd couple. They were the odd couple. Her and her husband were the odd couple, but I loved them.
So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, item 25 is the preliminary concept phase for the Rock Hill Quarry that, at least on the current timeline, would ultimately see occupation probably in the mid-2030s, something like a decade from now. There might be interest in holding this while we get some other information from the
Yes,
state.
yes, sir.
And so entertain a motion to hold this item.
Make a
I so
motion to hold.
move. I so move.
All right, got a motion from Commissioner Fisher and second from Commissioner Thornton. All right.
All in favor?
Commissioner Fisher, any follow-up?
Okay, Commissioner Taylor.
We would like to hold this. We had a meeting with the state and Judd, and we're still working on some things.
All right, yeah, and sort of as I think we've probably discussed before, at least in the work session context, the regulatory authority over blasting is a state agency, and so we've reached out to them. It took some time for them to get back to us. Fortunately now, we're engaged with them, so we hope to be able to get some good information from that formal engagement.
All in favor?
Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you. Would it be possible by the next meeting to get updated information on any communication with the residents that have been harmed, or maybe contacted the organization about that? Like, do we know how many residents have been harmed and to what extent?
I believe Attorney Drake has been lead in engaging with the state. Attorney Drake, have they provided us a sort of dossier of information or investigation at this point?
They have. It's my understanding that Director of Public Utilities, Director Terry, prepared a report regarding that meeting. So the manager's office should have that report.
So we'll be getting some follow-up.
Thank
Do you know
you.
when we'll get
Thank
to
you
see
very
that report?
Mayor,
Never
I'm
the-
yes to hold it. Okay.
Maybe within the next week or two, we could get to see that report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor of the hold, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. Item 26 is the Sanford Stadium Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Improvement Project. And believe we're going to have a coming meeting on this on Tuesday, August 19th.
Right. But this is the second part from what we voted already, I believe.
And so we did phase one. Are we ready to vote on this?
There's no agenda item.
Yeah, there's no.
All right, so this one we'll see again. All right.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to hold, Attorney Drake?
Which one you talking about, Mr. Mayor?
Item 26.
Public agenda.
I thought we had two parts of it last time we voted.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, that needs, remember, we were going to hold that one to the next
Okay, motion to hold.
special call meeting in conjunction with the agenda setting
All right.
meeting. It's
Motion
it's
from-
noted on the agenda.
Motion
to
from
hold.
Commissioner Wright to hold, second from Commissioner Fisher. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion carries. All right, now is that time in the evening when we have public input on any item that was not on tonight's agenda. So is there any member of the public who would like to speak to any item that was not on tonight's agenda? Rules of public input are the same, 3-minute opportunity. Please provide your name and place of residence.
Good evening.
Evening.
I apologize in advance. This is my first time talking to a large crowd of authority and a small crowd as well. Hello, my name is Kenneth Wattis. I'm 26 years old. I've been living in the state of Georgia for 15 years. I loved it so much that I joined the Army National Guard and still serve my community by providing construction work. We currently reside in the city of Madison. We have helped closely with Commissioner Rick Blanton, the mayor, Fred Pierman, and we've also helped and served Miss Pamela Hendricks, who recently, of last year, decided to run for judge near the Athens area. In the beginning of the year of taking the leap of faith of business, I have constructed 2 mission statements, which is bridge, mainly is bridge. Bridging the Spanish-speaking community with the English-speaking community, and bridging the older generation with the new generation. I strongly believe in faith and higher power. So when the opportunity got presented to me, a knowledgeable opportunity got presented to me with a conversation that I was having with my brother, at that time, he mentioned to me that there was 2 abandoned buildings near his fraternity. I want to, with that opportunity, with that knowledgeable opportunity, I want to take the leap of faith again. With helping and furthering the community of Athens as well. So the 2 abandoned properties are 180 and 184 Wilkerson Street in Athens, Georgia. Come to you for help in reaching out to the homeowners and the property owners of that homes, of the property owners. I believe that these properties need some work. Some way, somehow, I want to be part of that project. If it's either cleaning it up or remodeling it, I will want to do it one day, and hopefully, God willing, I will do it one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fuadas. Is there anyone else here to speak to any item that was not on tonight's agenda? Now is that time.
Steve Shield again, 957 Milky Way Parkway, and I'm here to talk about a SPLOST referendum. I want you to know first, I am a county man. I would never bring suit against this county. This is my home. I've lived here for half of my life, 36 years. And I was here in the mid-'70s going to college. My degree is environmental economics, which deals with the Clean Water Act of 1970. I know all about the EPA. I put in several SPLOST referendums, T-SPLOST this time, and the only one that went forward was do something about the College Avenue trestle. I made a presentation in front of the advisory committee on March the 31st. And my proposal was to hang fluorescent orange styrofoam that it will hit the windshields of cars that are about to run up under the trestle. Maybe 2 or 3 rows of it, like going through when you go through the car wash, it's got that stuff that cleans the windshield. I walk uptown that way, and there is always destruction. I used to tell Oberholster, I said, look, I can't stand this. This is a travesty. On March the 31st, I made my presentation. I learned at that time of my styrofoam project, which would have cost a couple of $100, had been reworked to a price of $474,000. I don't know what that is for. Ronnie called me and left me a message as to it has to do with first responder, NTSB, responding to a wreck. What you've got now is you've got a lot of lights and new lights and sirens to the cost of $474,000 that you're asking the public to pay for. Now, what you actually have is, I'll tell you a little bit about that area, and I've got 3 minutes, and I'm not going to have enough time, but I've lived down there since '88. Effie's, prostitution, drugs, 35 guns found in the North Oconee River at the College Avenue Bridge. It was some kind of a drop. I don't know yet. I'm studying it. Some I don't know if the crime, you don't throw a gun in a river unless the bullet that came from that gun went somewhere where it wasn't supposed to go. You have got a railroad trestle that people run up under to collect insurance. It's a violation of 16-953, secreting to do damage. It's insurance fraud. You collect money from it.
Mr. DeShiel, I appreciate you coming down and visiting with us tonight, but the 3 minutes has expired.
Okay. All right.
See you
Thank
soon. Is there anyone else here to speak to any item that was not on tonight's agenda? Good evening.
Good evening. How y'all doing? My name is Brian Middleton. I stay at 110 Irwin Court, Athens, Georgia, 30607. I came here before speaking to you about a self-awareness park and needing the help for the funds and different stuff for that. And I think that a lot of you hadn't got a chance to see what it's all about. So what I did was I came up with some small brochures. If y'all would take a look at them and see, and then y'all can see where I'm trying to go with this, so that y'all can see and why it's important for this to happen.
Thank you. And Attorney Drake, if you could just get those brochures from Mr. Middleton, we're glad to take a look. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Anyone else here to speak to any item not on tonight's agenda? All right, just have a quick report that's going to need a vote. There's a resolution for a youth placemaking grant for $500 that we'll be receiving to support the Youth Commission.
So move.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion from Commissioner Hamby, second from Commissioner Fisher. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's everything for me tonight. I believe, Mr. Manager, we've got some contingency transfers.
One item, and the only other thing I'll add is thank you for a week and 2 days, so.
All right. Anything from the auditor tonight?
Yeah, real quickly, Mr. Mayor. With the acceptance of the transit audit this evening, as well as a memo that you'll receive from me shortly in the next week or two about a follow-up for the annual review of the economic development audit, that will complete the FY25 work plan for our office in its entirety, and we are well underway in the FY26 work plan, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Auditor. Anything, Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
All right. We'll go ahead and begin with Commissioner Hamby, and then we'll have Commissioner Davenport adjourn us.
Sure, thank you. I'll be real quick. And this is a question for management. And I was trying to find the email regarding the future land use map plan. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in that, a lot of interest about some accessory units. So if I remember correctly, we're going to be discussing that in October?
October's work
right?
session.
Okay, I'm just trying to get it out there that, we'll be talking about that future land use plan in October and have the discussions on that, so.
Commissioner Thornton?
I'm never nervous, but my heart is like jumping out my chest right now. Mayor and colleagues, I am going to take this opportunity to announce that I will be running for re-election for commissioner. This is my formal announcement, and I guess my heart is jumping out my chest because one of my key campaign folk, she comes to these meetings all the time. She just didn't support me in my race. She comes to the meetings, and when I talked to her about it, she said, "Well, I thought you said you weren't running no more." And guess what? A lot of other people got that same message. So I said, I better, get up and get this clear. But when I asked her, I said, Pat, well, when did I say that? And she said, oh, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. And I had to play back. 4 or 5 years ago was a freaking nightmare. It was a nightmare. Not about people, not just about people. That's when we dealt with COVID. We went into the George Floyd social justice issue, the defunding of the police. There was a lot of things that normally don't happen in a local government. 4 or 5 years ago, I thought that the prosperity package was going to be the end all for all, and it got derailed because of other issues and needs. 4 or 5 years ago, or about 3 now, I got 2 DUIs, falsely accused DUIs, that almost ruined my reputation, and it really hurt my spirit a lot. But thank God that there is a God. I feel like Nehemiah. I'm staying on the wall. I want to finish the work that we've already started here, Bob, so you got to click with me. I think that we've done some great work, and it has never been me by myself. Folk have finally stepped up in District 9. So I do want to see the T-SPLOST projects from 2023 get off the ground before 2026, because I don't know how I can support 2026 if we can't get 2023 off the ground. I want to finish some of the other projects that I've started, and we have some new initiatives. But I think my real major decision was going to the Rally Up, Guns Down last week with Lamar Handy's foundation. I want to recommit to addressing the gang violence in this town and creating opportunities for youth. So this was my, this is the announcement. I want to thank staff. Oh my God, staff has been so good. I have really felt, in 1 year, I felt like I've gotten more done than I did in those first 5 years. And it didn't hurt as much. I'm tired. I miss my husband because I can go home and like fuss at him, you know, when things go wrong. But I know he's with me. But I want to thank Pat because she's been there. When I call her, hey, homegirl, I don't even think she know my name. Everything is homegirl, you know. So I think we got a lot of work done. This new group, I just feel good. I'm wiping the slate clear. I ain't mad at nobody. I ain't holding no grudges against nobody. I hope we all can work together. Shamika, you've been a doll. Every time I send a work order in, do you know how nice it is when residents come back and tell me thank you? And Shamika not only will send the work order, she will give me the results of what is going on. It's not like I got to wonder, was it done or not? So Elka and Bruce taking me on a tour. Bob is going to work on that because that is something that we all need to be doing. So I feel real good. I know it's not going to be easy, even though I feel better. But I want to thank everybody, and I hope that we can work together to get something done for the whole community. We're not going to agree on everything. That would be kind of crazy. But I'm looking forward to finish the work that God has asked me to do or placed me to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Ovita, for that announcement. Good. Yeah, it's going to be a busy year. Fortunately, I don't have to make any announcement here. That's good. So I just have two things, and one is just following up on one of the things that Commissioner Johnson brought up about the SPLOST program. Just a little recommendation for staff here, and that is that the tiering documents that are so important are not posted, and it would be really great to have them posted, because when I go try to look for them, I'm trying like looking through my email or things like that. The other thing is that I do want to urge the manager's office to update us on the pay equity raise for the correction and probation officers. We've received a lot of input on that, and I know it must be really confusing for the staff involved. Since we had wording in the budget, there were announcements made in different places. So I, was reading those emails, responding to some, and I said I was going to make sure that we understood what was going on, because I can understand the concern and the lack of trust that may have or clearly has occurred. So other than that, let me pass it on. Oh, hey, and great, got through the first meeting. Thank you to our new manager. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Bob. We're looking forward to working with you. I hope this is how things come in the future, that our meetings might be ending a little bit earlier and not lasting as long. Also, regarding the transit audit, I would like us, we discussed this during budget time about looking at charging fares and the cost that was going to, we were going to incur to putting the meters back in there, but there was a SPLOST project that had to do with transit that we could use. I'd like for us, I don't know how we get that ball rolling, but I think we ought to start looking at that. That's it.
I also want to thank Bob and welcome you this week. And thank you for coming to my event on Saturday, the Family Fun Day. I think everyone had a great time. I want to thank the individuals there that helped with their sweat equity, those that gave donations, the elected officials that came out, all of the people that contributed to this event, my sorority sisters, my church. It was a great event, and it turned out just like I wanted it to, a family fun day. I also want to thank Define Campaigns for always making sure everything is quality and professional. And I sincerely want to thank the staff at the mall, because I think I drove them, I'm not going to say I drove them crazy, but I probably made about 12 trips to the mall in 3 days, dropping off toys, and they were kind enough to accommodate me. There were 3 departments that also participated, and it was a big hit with the kids, and I just want to say sincerely thank you. That was the fire department, the solid waste department in 2 ways, inside and out, and the police department, so thank you all. Last week, I attended the promotional ceremony for the individuals at the police department that were recently promoted, and there was a handful. I was going to mention one by one. I was sitting next to Kathy Hord, and she said, "You should do it." But there were just too many people that were promoted, so I'm not going to read them all, but I just wanted to say congratulations to all the individuals at the police department. In regard to the vendor partners that I've met and connected with, Family Connection, Solid Waste, the Recycling Division, my neighborhood leader, we are now going to start partnering the Humane Society, Inner East Athens, and the Sparrow's Nest. I just want to say thank you for your continued support. Thank you for advice. And I want to thank Molly from the Planning Department, because she followed up with me a second time to make sure I received an email so that I can be aware of the resident, Mr. Ivy, who had been waiting on my decision. So thank you, Molly, for that. And the opportunity to work with the Creekside community and Carter Engineering. It never starts off great, but it ended well, I think, and I enjoyed that. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank, first of all, the Rolling Ridge community and the Westchester community. We had 2 icicle pop-ups. I want to thank the police department and the sheriff department for doing those 2 events. Especially want to thank Marche Sanders, Leslie Moore, and Ursula Fleming. They was a big part of those 2 icicle pop-ups, and a lot of kids showed up, and we had a good time with those kids in both of those communities. Also, we had a number of back-to-school events, and our nonprofits who put those on did a tremendous job. My colleague, she had a uniform drive, and I don't want to steal her thunder, but what I'm saying is we have a lot of those going on. And what I want to say to our colleagues, I want to make this suggestion and recommendation. I would like for us as a body, the commissioner, let's do a community-wide back-to-school bash for next year. Let's bring all our nonprofits to the table, all our business partners to the table, and do one community back-to-school bash. Let's do it downtown. Let's shut off downtown and do a big community back-to-school bash with book bags, school supplies, uniforms, wherever our kids need in order for them to be successful to start the school year. So I want to put that on y'all mind. Mayor, I'll talk with you some more about this. We can start planning this now, pick a date for next year, and do a big community back-to-school bash. Thank you.
All right, well, welcome, Bob. I know that you have a strong team, and I know staff is given you as much information as you could possibly process, yeah. It is officially back to school for our K through 12, and our higher education students will be coming back, and our community is about to be very busy with its fall season. And I want everybody to just be a little bit more mindful, a little bit more patient during the school years, the buses, the traffic, the pedestrians. Everybody just take a moment to be mindful for public safety and to be courteous to people who are coming to our community who aren't used to being in our driving. They're not used to the pedestrian stuff, and so stop for crosswalks. Let's everybody get where they're going safely, and maybe avoid the morning and afternoon when the schools are everybody's getting their kid to school and they're letting out, because that's a 30% increase in the community traffic pattern. If you don't have to be out there, I would recommend you avoid it. All right, Ms. Back to School Commissioner, down to you.
First, I do want to welcome Bob. Thank you for being easily connected to us already. I appreciate your back and forth emails. I would say text messaging, but I don't want us to get open record. Even though there's nothing in it, there's nothing in it. And for staff, for all of your hard work, we appreciate everything that you guys do to get the agenda to us. We realize that it takes a lot before it gets to us, so I appreciate you guys for that. And I would also like to thank all of the nonprofits that did do back to school giveaways this weekend. The Sheriff's Department did a major back to school drive Saturday, and I had mine Sunday. They also got a barber to do overflow haircuts yesterday at the Sheriff's Department. So shout out to Ms. Sims and Ms. Rittenberry for getting that together, to all of the volunteers who volunteered, all of the moms who donated gently used uniforms, to everyone who made donations, to my colleagues who donated so that we can get donated gift cards as well as dollars to get back to school for students who aren't in uniforms. I have a special shout out for Judd. Judd was on the east side, y'all. Like, seriously, Judd was on the east side for like hours Sunday. Like, we have pictures. It was a whole thing. I introduced him to everybody that I know. I'm like, hey, this is Judd. He's the county attorney. So I really appreciate that, Judd. It's always a big thing when I have someone from City Hall on the east side. So thank you for coming out, and yeah. Tomorrow's first day of school, so let's be mindful. Let's avoid downtown. Let's avoid 5 Points and Atlanta Highway. Let's avoid those places tomorrow.
That means
people.
stay in the house, if you
Unless
can.
you got to be at work.
I just want to say welcome to Bob. Thank you for reaching out, and I'm looking forward to showing you around my district and having a sit down and picking your brain about a lot of things. I also want to welcome the new families on Dublin Street. Commissioner Thornton and Commissioner Taylor and I were at the ribbon cutting on Friday for the 5 new homes that the Land Trust built on Dublin Street. So now there are 8 homes built by the Land Trust on Dublin Street that this county has contributed to significantly. There are a lot of ARPA dollars that went into them, and they're beautiful. They are beautiful, beautiful 3-bedroom family homes, and there are more to come. So we are making progress. Those ARPA dollars are making an impact. So y'all take a look and welcome those folks to the neighborhood.
All righty. Got like 18 points I need to get through. So
All right, Patrick.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Cost of building, I think this is really big. August 15th, grand opening, please. Put that on the calendars, or check your calendars, and for the community to come out. I do want to welcome Bob. The colors are red and black. It's very important. Go Dogs. And look for some fun things. Just inquiry for the staff on the Vision Zero and the couple of pedestrian deaths that we have had, like any updates on anything that we can do to mitigate that. And just to say a heartfelt goodbye to Mr. Jason Harwell in the PIO office, the dude with the glasses who used to always come and do our multimedia. He has found a new job. And just to pray for the students to have a wonderful, educated, fun year. Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
So